Welcome back to Women's Wealth, The Middle Way, the show that answers your questions about work, money, and family. My name is Susan McGlory Michael, and I am the CEO and founder of Glen Eagle, a wealth management firm in New Jersey. I'm here today with Fernandez, our Chief Operational Officer and does many of our financial planning. Carol is also my daughter. We welcome you today because our topic is life transitions, an unavoidable part of life, as we all well know. Today when we were talking about it, we thought that far too many of us know how quickly life can change. And usually change can bring about growth, some welcomed and sadly some not. But for many people, the most stressful times in life are when they're going through these significant transitions. Some of the most common life changes are marriage or divorce or pregnancy or empty nesting or retirement or changing your career. It could be really sadly severe illness or disability of yourself or even a loved one. Oftentimes during these changes in life, you can feel really out of control, as Carol Ann and I well know. And it can be also very frightening. However, good news, and what we're here today to talk about, is there are steps we can each take to prepare for these events, and they'll make the journey, I think, a little bit easier and maybe provide us with a little more confidence in those times, because I think people underestimate the loss of confidence often when they're going through a lot of change. When I was thinking about today, and maybe Carolyn, what you and I would talk about, I thought the most important message I think that I would love everyone to take away is don't let the unknown overwhelm you. We can't control everything. And often maybe embracing the unknown can make it a little easier as we prevent less anxiety of these changes. When life changes come, preparation, I think, is key. And we all know that. That's just kind of what our mothers would have told us. But I would say imagine your life and what it looks like in a new situation and what you would need to be prepared ahead of time. This can be so helpful. For example, if you're thinking about a retirement, what would you want to do during the day? Today's day one of retirement. What would I want to do each day going forward? How much money do I need for this lifestyle so that I'm not feeling pressure? I feel like I'm here to enjoy the next 3 decades or more. And what has been my lifelong love or hobby that now I can actually pursue, that I'm not having to get up early and be in the grind of work?
Yeah, I think we hear a lot of people saying, I just want to retire, but not talking about actually what they want to do. And I think that's a huge step, what you were just saying. But another big one is your support system and having one in place. Obviously, a support system is very helpful when unexpected life change happens, or even expected ones, such as babies and marriages. Having support, having help to get you through those changes and those transitions. And often, I think what surprised us with life changes, or that I've noticed, is some of the people that you didn't even expect are the ones that are most helpful. So a lot of times they talk about how helping others actually is more beneficial than receiving it. And I think when you're not going through a life transition or having a hard time in life, helping others, then when those transitions happen to you, you start to see those people step up, and having that support is just something that you can't underestimate, especially when it's overwhelming.
I'm smiling because when I was in my early 20s, we would always, at the 3rd or 4th of January, write down our yearly goals. And with my husband and I, we wouldn't even share them with each other, but then they would always wind up on the bathroom mirror, because when you create kind of a written plan, that includes like all the steps you would need to take to accomplish that goal. And for us, it was our yearly goal. Many years ago, I read a study by Dr. Gail Matthews that found that 42% of people are more likely to achieve their goals and their dreams by simply just writing them down on a daily basis. And it's funny, it may sound a little hokey, but just brushing our teeth and rereading those goals can be really empowering and reinforced, because as you're going through life, you say, yeah, that is one of my goals, and this is how I can achieve it, but it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, and I think taking those goals and then breaking them down and having a set time frame is really important. We hear a lot of people, yeah, that's been a life goal of mine, but if there's no time frame, as everyone knows, it just gets busy, right? And it keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed. So setting a time frame and then actually taking steps to move towards those goals, I think, is a big part of trying to accomplish it.
And I'm smiling here because I think we're all human, so we have to be realistic about the time it's going to take to accomplish kind of each of these steps for goals. This is not the time to be overly optimistic. You can't say, I'm going to get all this done and I have to get this done and then put the pressure on yourself if you've missed that deadline. I always say you may have 10 things written down on a piece of paper, but if you achieve 2 or 3 of them, it's been a really good day.
I think that's so true. And keeping progress of them and then celebrating them. I think a lot of times we just have our long list every day and we're trying to check them off, but we forget to stop and celebrate them and make sure that even if we break it down into little steps, for example, if you're going to get life insurance, maybe step number 1 is just get a quote. Step number 2 is to analyze it. Step number 3 is to actually get it, right? And that's just one simple step. But I think it can be really overwhelming, especially as you try to prepare for something that may be in the future, but hopefully will never happen.
Yep, and I think you're so right that we should celebrate some of our accomplishments. I think we don't pause enough to say, you know what, we did a good job or we've accomplished all that. Often at the end of a year, I'll look back on my planner from January to the January. And that's when I sort of appreciate, wow, I really did accomplish a lot, or I did see a lot of the people that I wanted to. The other thing about going through that planner is sort of life goals is I say, oh, I missed that one, and you can put it into the new year. And that's okay. As we say, be optimistic and don't go hard on yourself. Just move it forward. I love that arrow, push it forward. We both, Carol Ann and I, can say we need to probably get better at
and
celebrating our
I think when the life changes happen, any preparation you've done, you'll be very thankful for. So you'll celebrate then if you haven't celebrated already.
And without rambling, I think for Carol Ann and I think our one goal today in sharing with you is with planning and sort of the right mindset, we can all make transitions in our life much less painful and really more positive. I know it's normal for us to have feelings of overwhelmness. I'm probably a great role model for what not to do, but it's vital to take care of ourselves both physically and emotionally. We have to keep trying to eat well and to get enough sleep. I mean, I don't know if any of you have read those books about the significance of sleep, but they are humbling once read. We need to exercise regularly, and that means it's okay to miss a day, but if we're making an effort, good is good enough. And do something fun every day, even if it's just call a friend. Get yourself to smile about something every day. Spend time with friends and family members who are your biggest support, and keep up with your usual routine as much as possible. As we know from little children, raising 4 children and then watching my children raise children, their best days are when they're on a very specific routine and the children know exactly what's going to come next and what they have entailed for the day. And I smile and think, lesson learned, if we would just do that as adults, we'd be much better off.
I think it's also important, someone who doesn't like change, to just remember that transitions are a part of life. Some of them are happy, some of them are sad, but fearing them or trying to avoid them is not going to help. So definitely being excited about the times that there's new possibilities and preparing for those maybe more stressful times, I think are going to help you a lot when those transitions happen.
And thank you all for joining us today. Actually, this is one of my favorite things to do is these podcasts with Carol Ann. So it's a good reminder of both of us. It's sort of like now we have to walk the walk, right, Carol?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Women's Wealth, The Middle Way. Make sure to subscribe to us and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcast app. Join us for new episodes every other Wednesday. See you in 2 weeks.